Hey there, welcome to Pop Culture Cupid.
I'm Alison, love coach, here to help you single people find your way back to love.
And I'm Michal, I'm a single life coach. I help singles embrace themselves and their singleness, as well as develop a healthy self relationship.
In this podcast, we will look at how pop culture impacts romance, dating, and your love life.
And each week we'll shoot another arrow through another pop culture delusion.
I thought we weren't going to do the whole cheesy thing.
And then burst into smithereens.
Oh my god, dude, that's so cringe!
Sorry, it's in the intro now.
If you make it through the chaos and you enjoy what you hear, please leave a comment, like, subscribe, and go to all the social media.
At Pop Culture Cupid on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Enjoy! Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
It's okay as can be. It's okay as can be. That's a normal answer here right now. There's a running joke about it.
Yeah.
Like, just in case you forget to add after the I'm okay, like in relation to the situation, like everyone's like laughing about it. They're like, it's just right now people ask you how you're doing, and it's like the ridiculous question in the world. But yeah, it feels such a strange thing to ask. But yeah, sorry, I digress.
Well, it's interesting because, you often get the how you do, how's it going? How are you doing? And people always expect the answer, I'm fine, how are you? Never really.
Oh yeah.
And it's just something I worked on.
Yeah, because most people don't actually care that much. They're just asking to get it out of the way or to be polite. And like I had friends that we used to call these kind of conversation like a pathway conversation, where you're just passing someone by through the path or whatever, or through the street, and then go, "Hey, how are you? Good. How are you? And everything okay? Yes, goodbye." That's it.
Yeah, exactly. No. And actually, I find that if you did tell someone, actually, I'm not doing okay, or something's going on, or any particular reason,
yeah,
you'd very rarely get a negative reaction. You'd very rarely, unless you're somebody who complains all the time. Like if you're usually somebody who's kind of, yeah, fine, and actually there's something going on, then that usually gets a response. And I was working on that with a client a while back, where I was telling him, you need to learn how to just say when things are not okay, if just to get used to talking about yourself. And it was an interesting conversation of it's difficult to come out of that social thing of just, yeah, fine, how are you? Yeah, fine. Even yourself, you're not really expecting anyone to say I'm not doing okay.
Yeah, you don't, and in a way you don't want to, because it's like you don't really want to cope with other people's emotions right now, or it's too heavy for you, or you don't know how to cope with it, especially since you don't expect it. So when someone's actually honest about it, then you're taken aback. And
Yeah.
I think that most people just prefer to just spare others the burden, or to not get into it. Like, I know I'm not a person who's just going to come and spill my guts out to every person who's going to ask me how I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm very selective with that. So I think that's okay. You don't have to go ahead and tell everyone. I feel like you also shouldn't. There's something also really unhealthy about going around and being miserable and telling everyone how crappy you're doing.
Yeah,
There's also you have to find the right balance and share with the right people, and also keep on finding the positive sides and the good things, and just showing, because there's always something good to focus on. And again, if you keep on just every person you meet, how you doing? Oh, I'm crappy, I'm sorry, this, and then you start crying, then people are not going to want to talk to you.
Yeah.
If every single time you're being like that. So you have to, again, find the right balance and the right people to talk to about too.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway,
how are you doing?
okay,
What's up with you?
I just normal. Yeah, normal stuff. It's just it's so cold here right now.
Hmm.
Um, it's I had like I often get really bad back pain. And like 2023 has just been, I've been to the osteopath probably 7 or 8 times.
Wow.
A stupid amount. It's just been, oh my God. And so I went there yesterday, and we were just talking about it with him, um about just the world that we live in, of just, it's very strange world of where we're so educated on so much stuff, and yet we still, despite the education, we just do the randomest shit. And I was telling him about when I so this past 12 months where they've just been, complicated for me in various aspects, and how, people are educated on social norms and how to behave and how not to behave and how to talk to women and how not to talk to women and things like that, and people still just being really strange and weird. Like, for instance, I was telling him about an osteopath that I had that was great. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm really enjoying this session. Like, I can feel it working. And whilst I'm in my underwear, he goes, so are you single? Your face is priceless.
What?
I was like, well, I wasn't. And even if I had been, I probably would have said, no, I'm not single. Because, dude, I'm in my underwear. Like, it's such a,
So weird.
it feels very strange. And so yesterday's guy was like, oh my God, that's so strange. And I was just, and and so it got us talking, because, I encourage people to, get out of their comfort zone and talk to the
Hmm.
woman, or talk to the guy or whatever. And I was like, but yet you still need to just, like, I was in my underwear. Like, this was a practitioner that I had gone to because of my back pain. I was in my underwear, like, very vulnerable, very kind of just weird. And he was just, so are you single? And I was like, no.
Such a straight, like, even if he's not coming on to you in that moment, like, I mean, that's such a strange question to ask at that point, unless it's somehow has something to do with the examination or your medical history or whatever it
Yeah,
is. It's like,
exactly. Or like the conversation or like something. Um,
yeah, just goes to show how socially awkward we are these days because we're all spending too much time on our phones.
I would like to challenge that. I think it's always been like, we've always had people who are socially awkward for various reasons.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And, and sometimes, you know, people evolve and people don't evolve. And it was just a very, very strange. And and after that, one of my clients was like, oh, should I ask my doctor out? I find her very attractive and very kind. I was like, no, like, you, like, this is physician, patient, or client, or whatever relationship. If you want to try that, and I think people should try, if you find this practitioner or something that you find attractive often.
Yeah.
I, once when I had I used to give the first session for free, because that was the format that I was doing when I started off. And at the end of a session, it happened twice. That at the end of the session, we log off, and then the guys just messaged me and, and tried to flirt with me. And I was
Priceless.
I wasn't open to it, because wasn't open to it. But I was like, well, that's the way you want to do it. That's just, if you're single and you want to try something out, then you want to take it out of the context of, I'm your patient or I'm your client, or vice versa. And
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
I
it,
feel like, mhm.
it's tricky. And I think especially for guys, where, because I think and you'll probably comment on this better than I would, but being a woman, you have certain, expectations when you're single. But I think that when you're a guy, when you're single, the expectations are just like, you need to be outgoing and you need to get all of the women, or you need to be the one that goes up to the woman. And I think men have it hard. Like I've been helping a lot of men for the last 18 months now. And I was just, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough for them. They're in this complicated world of feminism and Me Too movement, yet chivalry is dead, yet chivalry is not dead. And they have it hard.
You just, yeah. We live in such a complicated world. People like to overcomplicate things these days. It is. I believe that well, in some ways it's harder for women, and in some ways it's harder for men. It's like very different, and it's like on different planes. But for men, there's just that much more expectation. People wanting them to be more manly and to pay for on the first date, which I get, or pay the second date, third date, to be a gentleman, to behave in certain ways, to not get emotional, to not do this, and to be the one who takes initiative, and to be the one who does the chasing, and to be the one who is always courting after the woman, and the woman has to like sit back and be the princess. There's a lot of expectations for men, while at the same time also demanding equality and all the feminist movements that want, I don't know what they want. I feel like they want to eat from the cake and keep it whole.
Is that
We
is
have
that
that saying.
yeah,
It's
is
a
that
saying in Hebrew. I don't know if it exists in English, but that's what we say. They want to eat from the cake and keep it whole.
so in English, the expression is have your cake and eat it. Uh,
Have your cake and eat it, right?
and in French, we have this expression that I'm going to say in French, and then I'll translate it. It's a two-parter. It says il veut le beurre et l'argent du beurre, and the second part is il cul de la crémière. So the first part is like this soft, like he wants the butter and the money from the butter, which means he wants to have the butter and still earn money from the butter without selling it. And then for the people who really exaggerate it, he wants the butter, the money from the butter, and the ass of the cream woman.
I love it. Yeah, and I think it's such a scary time to be a straight male, especially if they're white. Oh my God, God forbid you be white these days.
Oh, I know.
But with men, there's just so much, like, you touch a woman the wrong way, you say the wrong thing, and straight away it's like, me too, me too. And well, we're digressing here. I mean, obviously not in all cases, but it just seems to me that it's a rising phenomena of women just accusing men of every tiny little thing, and everything's offensive. And yet, within all that, the man is the one who has to make the first move. He has to be a gentleman, but he also he has to be a manly man, but he also has to let women be in charge.
Yeah.
So you can't win.
No, I agree. And so there's this YouTuber called Hayley Khalil. Um, she's amazing. I highly recommend her. She's beautiful, beautiful, and she's hilarious. And you know how I would jokingly say, "Oh, she's beautiful, she's intelligent, she's funny, she's nice. I hate her," as a joke, but she
Mhm.
is so funny. Like it eclipses her beauty, and you can't help but love her because it's just. Anyway, she's great, and she does all of these videos about the fashion industry, and because she's a model, because she's stunning, and the
Mhm.
fashion industry. And then she talks about her own like personal experiences with like love and dating and things like that. And she says something along the lines of, and no, I think we'll both agree, online, you know, we talk about progress, we talk about change, we talk about accepting, we talk about power and things like that. But in the dating world, nothing ever changes. Like, we talk about change all of the time.